we get started with this opening, I just want to say, hi Lou, thanks for coming tonight. Anyways, welcome to tonight's production of Much Ado About Nothing. I mean, that was last fall's show, I'm sorry. There's a great part there. Welcome to tonight's production of You Can't Take It With You. In addition, you cannot take flash photography with you into this show. We ask that you silence your cell phones and children, as the utmost respect is required for Wall Street businessmen like myself. You are permitted to laugh, and laugh loudly, as it brings a certain level of confidence to the actors and helps relieve our daily nerve strain. Finally, we would like to remind you that there will be snacks available at intermission down in the cafeteria for a donation price. I would highly recommend these snacks, even though I suffer from indigestion. Now, Miriam, would you care to open us in prayer?
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this opportunity that we have to be here today, in this building, in this auditorium, and this stage. Thank you so much that the roads are clear and everyone was able to make it here safely. Please be with the actors and actresses and help us to know that we have this in us and it's going to be a great show. Help us to remember this is all for you, and we bring all the glory to you for this production. In your name, amen. Thank you all for coming, and happy Valentine's Day, and enjoy the show.
It's such an awful hot day.
Well, I got all those new orders. Ed went out and got a bunch of new orders.
Fine. If it keeps on, I suppose you'll be opening up a store soon.
That's what Ed was saying last night. But I said no. I want to be a dancer.
Well, the only trouble with dancing is that it takes so long. I mean, you've been studying for such a long time.
Only 8 years. After all, Mother, you've been writing plays about 8 years, haven't you? We started around the same time, didn't we?
Yes, but you shouldn't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
I think that the candy is hardening up now, Miss Essie.
Oh, thanks, Reba. I'll bring some in. Mother, I want you to try it.
Did you finish the second act, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, what, Reba?
I said, did you finish the second act?
Oh no, I just got Cynthia entering the monastery.
But she was at the Kit Kat, wasn't she?
Well, she gets tired of the Kit Kat Club, and then there's this monastery, so she goes there.
Do they let her in?
Oh, yes, of course. I made it Visitor's Day, so of course anyone can come. Oh, yes, so she arrives on Visitor's Day and just stays.
You mean she stays all night?
Oh, yes. She stays 6 years.
6 years. I bet she bust that monastery wide open.
6 years later.
Mr. DePina. Yeah? Mr. DePina, will you bring up one of those new skyrockets, please? I want to show them to Mrs. Sycamore.
Sure.
Penny, look at these new firecrackers we just made. Oh, we can make them 10 strings for a cent. Listen. Nice, huh?
Yes. Paul, dear, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. But wait till you see these new skyrockets. Gold stars, and then blue stars, and then bombs, and then a balloon. Mr. DePina thought of the balloon.
Sounds lovely. Did you do all of that today?
Sure. We made enough, here we are. Look, we can make them 18 cents and sell them for 50. How many do you think we can make before the 4th of July, Mr. DePina?
Oh, well, we've got 2 weeks yet. What day are you going to bring the stuff up to Mount Vernon?
About a week. You know, we're going to need a larger booth this year. Got a lot of stuff made up. So come on, we're not through yet.
Oh, well, look, Mr. Sycamore, I'm afraid the powder chamber is just a little bit close to the balloon.
We have the stars and the bombs in between.
But that don't give the balloon time enough. A balloon needs plenty of time.
All right, come on, let's go down to the cellar and try it.
Oh, all right.
Mr. DePina, if a girl you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Sycamore. It's been so long.
Miss Alice gonna be home to dinner tonight, Miss Sycamore?
What? Oh, I don't know, Reba. Maybe.
Well, I'll set a place for her anyway. But she's only been home one night this entire week.
Yes, I know.
Miss Essie is making some mighty good candy. She's doing something new with coconuts.
Uh-huh. That's nice.
Let's see. 6. And Mr. Pinna. And if Mr. Kolenkoff comes, that makes 8, don't it? Yes, I'd better set for 8.
Reba, I think I'm going to put this play away for a while and go back to my war play.
I always liked that one. The war play. Boom, boom!
They'll be better when they're harder, Mother, but try one. I want to know what you think.
Lovely. What do you call them?
I think I'll call them love dreams.
That's nice. I'm going back to the war play, Essie.
Oh, are you, Mother?
Yes, I sort of got myself stuck in a monastery and I can't get out.
Oh, well, it'll come to you, Mother. Remember how you got out of that brothel. The snakes look hungry. Did Reba feed them?
I don't know. Reba, did you feed the snakes yet?
No. But Donald's coming, and he always brings the flies with him.
Well, make sure you feed them before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and here, take Groucho and Harpo into the kitchen with you. I'll have another love dream.
Well, Mr. DePina was right about the powder. It was too close to the balloon.
Want a love dream, Father? They're on the table.
No thanks, I gotta go wash.
Going back to the war plate, Paul.
Oh, that's nice. We're gonna put bombs after the balloon, and then the powder. That should do it.
You know, Mr. Kalinkoff says I'm his most promising pupil.
You'd think with 40 monks and one girl that something would happen.
Essie, hey, Essie.
I like that, Ed. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven.
Sounds lovely. Got a lot of you in it. I made those new candies this afternoon, Ed.
Yeah?
You can take them around tonight.
All right, now here's the finish. This is me. How's that?
That's fine. Remember it when Kalinkoff comes, will you?
Ed, dear, why don't you and Essie have a baby? I was thinking about it just the other day.
Oh, I don't know. We could have one if you wanted us to. What about it? Do you You want to have a baby?
I don't care. I'm willing if Grandpa's okay with it.
Let's ask him.
Labor play, religious play, romance play. I know it's here someplace.
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Anything you want printed, Mr. DePinna? How about some more calling cards?
Oh, no thanks. I still got the first 1,000.
Well, call on somebody, will you?
All right.
What have we got for dinner, Reba? I'm ready to print the menu.
Let's see, cornflakes, watermelon, some of these candies Miss Essie made, and some kind of meat. I forget.
I think I'll set it up in bold-faced Cheltenham tonight. You know, if I'm going to take those new candies around, I'd better put up some descriptive matter after dinner.
Do you really think anybody reads those things that you put in those candy boxes, I mean? Oh, here it is. Poison gas. Oh, that must be Donald. Look at you smile, Reba.
The boyfriend, eh, Reba?
They're awfully cute, Donald and Reba. Sort of like Porgy and Bess.
Hello, Reba.
Donald!
Evening, everybody.
Hi, Donald. How have you been?
I'm pretty good, Mr. Ag. How you been, Mrs. Sycamore?
Just all right, Donald. Donald, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't go place much. I'm on relief.
Oh, right. Suppose not. Sorry.
You're the funniest, Reba. Caught a big mess of them today.
You sure did.
I see you've been working, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, yes, indeed.
How's Grandpa?
Oh, he's just all right. He's over at Columbia this afternoon. The commencement addresses.
My. The years certainly do roll around.
M-E-A-T. What's he go there for all the time, Penny?
I don't know. I mean, it's all so handy, just around the corner and all.
Oh, Donald! Mr. DePinna and I are going to take the fireworks up to Mount Vernon next week. Do you think you could give us a hand? Yes, sir. Only, I can't take no money from them this year, because if the government finds out I'm working, they'll get sore. Ed, I had a wonderful idea in the bathroom just now. I was reading Trotsky. It's serious, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
Trotsky, the Russian Revolution.
Oh,
Anyhow, it struck me what a great fireworks idea it is. Do you remember the last days of Pompeii?
oh yes. Palisades Park. That's where we met.
Well, I'm gonna do the revolution in full-hour display. Say.
Why, Paul, that's wonderful.
The red fire's the flag, huh?
Sure. And the Tsar and the Cossacks? And the freeing of the slaves? No, Donald. The Russian Revolution. Hello, Grandpa.
Well, sir, you should have been there. That's all I can say. You should have been there.
Was it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Wonderful. They get better every year. Oh, you don't know how lucky you are, you're snakes.
Big class this year, Grandpa? How many were there?
Must have been about 2 acres. Everybody graduated. Yes, sir, and much funnier speeches than they had last year.
You want to listen to a good speech? You go up and hear Father Divine.
Oh, I'll wait. They'll have them at Columbia.
Donald, can you go and tell Reba that Grandpa's home? And that we won't be waiting for Alice.
Yes, Reba! Grandpa's home! We can have dinner! We made a new skyrocket today, Grandpa. Wait till you see it.
Oh, evening, Grandpa.
Evening, Mr. DePinna.
Didn't we make a fine rocket today, Mr. DePinna?
We certainly did.
I wonder why they never have fireworks at commencements.
Don't make enough noise. You take a good commencement order, and it'll drown out a whole carload of fireworks. and say just as much, too.
Don't the graduates ever say anything?
No, they just sit there in a cap and nightgown and get their diplomas, and then along about 40 years suddenly say, "Where am I?"
Hello, Grandpa. Have a nice day.
Hello, have a nice day. Don't even get kissed.
Excuse me, Grandpa.
I'll take a tomato, too. You know, I could have used a couple of these at the commencement this afternoon.
Father?
No thanks.
Mother?
Oh, no thank you, dear.
Play something, Ed.
There was a letter came for you this afternoon, Grandpa. Did you get it?
A letter for me? I don't know anybody.
It was for you, though. Had your name on it.
That's funny. Where is it?
I don't know. Where's Grandpa's letter, Mother?
What, dear?
Where's the letter that came for Grandpa last week?
I don't know. But I do remember seeing the kittens on it.
Who is it from? Did you notice?
Yes, it was on the outside.
Well, who was it?
United States government.
Wonder what they wanted.
There was one before that, too. From the same people. There was a couple of them.
Well, if any more come, I wish you'd give them to me.
Yes, Grandpa.
I think I'll go out to Westchester to do a little snake hunting tomorrow.
God is the state is God.
What's that?
God is the state is God.
Well, who says that?
Trotsky.
Oh, that's all right. I just thought you said it.
It's nice for printing, you know? Good and short. G-O-D space I-S space.
And so the beautiful princess came into the palace and kissed her mother, and her father, and her grandfather.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Grandpa. And what do you think? They turned into the Sycamore family. Surprised? Oh, Alice, I like it. Do you? It's new, isn't it?
Yes, it's nice and summery.
Where'd you get it? Oh, I took a walk during lunch hour.
Well, you've been taking a lot of walks lately. That's the second new dress this week.
I just like to brighten up the office once in a while. I'm known as the K. Francis of Kirby and Company. Anyhow, what's new around here in the way of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, or fireworks? Tad, I'll bet you've been down that cellar all day.
Huh?
I'm going back to the war play, Alice.
Really, Mother? Ed, play Alice that new Beethoven thing you wrote.
You know, you can mail a letter from Nicaragua now for 2 pesetos. Yes, quite a good deal. You know, I've heard the Nicaraguan
My
economy
virginity is a priceless
booming.
thing to me.
Yes.
Listen, people, listen. I'm not home to dinner. A young gentleman is calling for me. Really? Who is it?
Isn't that nice?
I did everything possible to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Why don't you both stay for dinner?
No, I want him to take you in easy doses. I tried to prepare him a little, but don't make it any worse than you can help. Don't read him many plays, Mother. And don't let a snake bite him, Grandpa, because I like him. And I won't dance for him, I see, because we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Can't do anything. Who is he? The President of the United States?
No, he's Vice President of Kirby and Company, Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr. The boss's son?
Well,
The boss's son, just like the movies. That explains the new dresses.
And not being home to dinner for 3 weeks.
Why, Sherlock Holmes.
are you two going to get married?
Oh, of course, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go up and put on my wedding dress. Is he good looking? Yes, his word. Oh dear, what time is it?
I don't know. Does anybody know what time it is?
Mr. Depinamite.
Oh, it was about 5 o'clock a couple of hours ago.
Oh, I ought to know better than to ask you people. Mother, will you let me know the minute he comes, please?
Yes, dear.
Yes, I know, but I mean the minute he comes.
Yes, of course.
Well, be sure.
Well, wasn't that something?
She seems to like him, if you ask me.
I should say so.
She's got it bad. I hope they get married. If they do, we'll have the wedding right in this room.
Now wait a minute, Penny. This is the first time he's ever called for the girl.
But you only called for me once.
Well, young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Look at Ed and me. He came to dinner once and just stayed.
Anyhow, it's all so wonderful. Don't you think, Grandpa?
She certainly seems happy about it.
Yes. He must be crazy about her. I wonder if he's the one who's been taking her out every night. Oh, this must be him. Never mind, Reba. I'll get it. Now, everyone remember what Alice said and be very nice to him.
All right, let's take a look at him.
Why, hello. Welcome to our little home. How do you do? I'm Alice's mother. Oh, do come right in. Come right in. That's her grandfather, and that's her sister, Essie, and her husband, Ed, and then Mr. Sycamore. There. Oh, let me take your hat and make yourself right at home.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake.
How's that?
My card.
Wilbur C. Henderson? Internal Revenue Department.
That's right. And this is... right here, boss. My assistant.
How do you do?
What can we do for you?
Does a Mr. Martin Vanderhoff live here?
Yes, sir, that's me.
Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government wants to talk to you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax?
You mind if I sit down?
Go right ahead.
Take notes.
Yes, sir. Mother, is that Mr. Kirby?
Oh, no, it isn't, dear. It's an internal something or other. Pardon me.
Mr. Sigmore,
What is it?
these things are not going off.
Not here, Mr. Depina. Grandpa's busy. Pardon.
Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, we've sent you several letters about this, but have not had any reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were.
I told you they were from the government.
According to our records, Mr. Vanderhoff, you have never paid an income tax.
Not 1 cent.
That's right.
Why not?
I don't believe in it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
Yes, sir.
And you receive a yearly income from it?
I do.
Of between $3,000 and $4,000.
Something like that.
You've been receiving it for years.
Many years.
I have 1901, if you want the exact date.
The government is only concerned from 1914 on. That is when the income tax started.
Well,
Well, as it seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, you owe the government 24 years back income tax.
Wait a minute. You can't go back that far. That's outlawed.
Mm-hmm. What's your name?
Yeah. What's your name?
What difference does that make?
Ever file an income tax return?
No, sir.
What was your income last year?
$28.50. Wasn't it, Essie?
Yes, sir.
If you please. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, you must know that there's quite a penalty for not filing an income tax return.
A penalty?
and now look here, Mr. Henderson. Let me ask you something.
Well,
Suppose I pay you this money. Mind you, don't say I'm going to pay it, but for the sake of argument, what's the government going to give me for it?
how do you mean?
Well, if I go into Macy's and I buy something, there it is. I see it. Now what's the government give me?
Well, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
What from?
Invasion, foreigners that might come over here and take everything that you've got.
Everything you've got.
Oh, I don't think they're going to do that.
If you didn't pay income, they would. How do you think the government keeps up the army and the navy?
All those battleships.
We haven't used battleships since the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of that? Cuba, and we gave that back. Now, I wouldn't mind paying if it were something sensible.
Sensible? Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the President? We've got to pay for them, don't we?
Not with my money, no, sir.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to tell you you've got taxes to pay and you must pay them.
They've got to show me.
No, we haven't got to show you. I just told you. All those buildings down in Washington and interstate commerce and...
The Constitution.
Yes, the Constitution.
Well, the Constitution was paid for very long ago. And interstate commerce, well, what is interstate commerce?
Free states, see? And if there were interstate commerce, nothing could get from one state to the next. See?
Why not? They've got fences, have they?
No, they haven't got fences. They've got laws. My goodness, I've never seen anything like this before.
No, sir.
Well, I might pay about $75, but that's all it's worth.
You'll pay every last cent of it, like everyone else.
Listen to this a minute, Essie.
You listen here. You'll go to jail, you hear me? That's the law, and if you think you're greater than the law, you've got another thing coming. You're no greater than anybody else, and the sooner you get that through your head, the better. You'll hear from the United States government. That's all I can say. Wait, what? Ow! Oh, goodness, let's get out of here.
Yes, sir.
How was that, Essie?
Fine, Ed.
How did that sound to you folks?
I liked it.
He was mad, wasn't he?
Oh, it's not his fault, it's just the whole thing is so silly. Say, is that his hat there?
Oh, yes it is. Must have forgot it.
What size is that?
It is a 7/8.
Just right for me.
Who was that fellow anyways?
Interstate commerce, something or other.
This must be him. Oh, better go check to see him.
Well, if this is Mr. Kirby, it must be this time, not another in-state commerce person.
I hope he's good looking.
Well, hello.
Good evening.
Are you Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, then do come in and come right in. Oh, that's Mrs. Sycamore, and then her grandfather, and then Essie, her sister, and then her husband, Ed Carmichael, and then me, her mother. Oh, please let me take your hat and make yourself right at home.
Thank you.
Is that Mr. Kirby, Mother?
Oh, yes it is, dear. And he's lovely.
I'll be right down.
Oh, Mr. Kirby, do be seated.
Thank you. I hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
No, have a tomato.
How about a piece of candy?
Ah, no thanks.
Oh, so sorry. Forgot to introduce Mr. DePina, Mr. DePina, and Mr. Kirby.
Wasn't I reading about your father in the newspaper the other day? Didn't he get indicted or something?
Hardly that. He just testified before the Securities Commission.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it, Mr. DePina. Anyhow, Alice has often told us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, we all know we couldn't get along without Alice. She knows more about business than any of us.
You're awful young, Mr. Kirby, aren't you? To be vice president of a big place like that?
Well, you know what that means. Vice president. All I have is a desk with my name on it.
Is that all? Don't you get any salary?
Well, a bit. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Now you're just being modest.
It sounds kind of dull to me. Wall Street, do you like it?
Well, the hours are short, and I haven't been there very long.
I'm just out of college, huh?
That's right. I knocked around for a while at first, just sort of had fun.
What did you do? Did you travel?
For a while, and then I went to Cambridge for a year.
England.
Exactly.
Say, what's an English commencement like? Did you see any?
Oh, they're very impressive.
They are. Huh.
Anyhow, the fun's over and I'm facing the world.
Well, you've certainly got a good start at it. I mean, vice president of a big company and a rich father.
Well, that's hardly my fault.
So now I suppose you're ready to settle down and get married?
No, honey. I'm sure Mr. Kirby here knows his own mind.
I wasn't making his mind up for him, was I, Mr. Kirby?
Not at all, Mrs. Sycamore.
You see?
You mustn't rush him, Mother.
Well, all I was meaning is that he's bound to get married. And suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Well, here I am, a vision in blue.
Apparently, you've all had time to get acquainted. Yes, we've just had a delightful talk about love and marriage.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I came down as fast as I could.
I didn't mind in the least.
Rotten flies! So, Miss Alice, you beautiful. Where are you going?
I'm going out, Reba.
Stepping, huh?
That must be Kulikov.
Oh, we better go, Tony.
All right. Grandpa! You want cream on your cornflakes?
I forget. Half and half, Donald.
Ah, Marito Ravisca!
Yes, sir, Mr. Kolenkopf.
Yes, that's Kulikov.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
From, I have just had a letter from Russia. The second 5-year plan is a failure.
I practiced today, Mr. Kulikov.
My Pavla, my chest.
Well, if you'll excuse us, Mr. Kulikov.
Oh, my little Alice. Never have I seen you look so magnificent.
Thank you, Mr. Kulikov. Tony, this is Mr. Kulikov, as his dancing teacher. Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
Well, if you'll pardon us, Mr. Kulikov, we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
The Monte Carlo Ballet? It stinks.
Yes, well, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'm so glad to have met you all.
Goodbye.
Monte Carlo Ballet.
Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Oh, come on, everyone. Dinner's ready.
I thought it was nice, didn't you?
He's so good looking.
And he had such nice manners. Did he notice Paul? Did he notice his manners?
I certainly did, Penny. You were getting pretty personal with him.
Oh, now, Paul. Anyhow, he's such a lovely young man.
Yeah, well, he looks like a cousin of mine.
Bach's, Digliev. And then you had the ballet.
If we have the whiting here, I think I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandpa?
Not if the snakes don't.
No, they'll want to get married in a church. His family and everything.
Oh, yes. In Russia, we get married in an onion dog church.
Shh, quiet, everybody, quiet. Well, sir, we've been getting along pretty good for quite a while now, and we're certainly much obliged. Remember, all we ask is to go along and be happy in our own sort of way. Of course, we all want to keep our health, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you. So the second 5-year plan is a failure, eh, Kulikov?
Wait, that's profit. And wait till they decide the third
Mary and Kirby.
Fine.
Look at that.
I think they're marvelous.
They're wonderful, aren't they? Of course, just walking inside the theater gives me a thrill.
Well, it's been so lovely, Tony. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't.
Would you like a cold drink?
Wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. Want to come along?
I follow you to the ends of the earth.
Just the kitchen is enough.
Well, I like it. You've done it very simply, haven't you?
Yes, we didn't know whether to do an empire or medium Grecian.
So you settled for Frigidaire.
Yes, it's so easy to live with. Lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. My spot's full of cornflakes. That gives you a rough idea of the sycamores.
Why they made these bottle openers for singer midgets, I never did. Color my coat.
I'll take mine in a glass if you don't mind.
There you are. Foaming beer.
Anyhow, it's cold.
Now, if you'll please be seated, Miss Sycamore, I'd like to offer a toast.
We are seated.
Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby, to you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade 1 minute this evening for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Sure. Didn't you read The Good Earth? Well, I suppose I have to go.
Is it very late?
Very. I don't want to go.
I don't want you to.
All right, I won't. When do you take your vacation?
Last 2 weeks in August.
I might take mine then too.
Really?
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I hadn't thought much about it.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I like the city in the summertime.
I do too.
But you always go up to Maine, don't you?
Oh, but I'm sure I'd love the city in the summertime. Oh, you might mean Alice. I'd love to see if you were here.
Well, it'd be nice if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend the summer with me than anybody else?
Was I?
Well, if that's true about the summer, how do you feel about winter?
Yes, I like that too.
Then there's spring and autumn. You can see we're clear about those, Miss Sycamore.
I might.
Well, I guess that's the whole year. We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Is that you, Alex? What time is it anyway? Oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
Not at all, Mrs. Sycamore.
No, Mother.
Anyhow, I just came down to fetch my manuscript, and then you two can get back to whatever it is you were doing. Here it is. Romance takes a holiday. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, I think you can call me Penny, don't you, Alice? At least I hope so, anyhow. Good night.
What was that?
It's all right, Tony. That's just Father.
This time of night?
Any time of night. Any time of day.
Darling, you're more beautiful, more lovely, more adorable than anyone else in the world.
Don't, Tony.
What? Just because you're mother? All mothers are like that, Alice, and Penny's a darling. See, I'm even calling her Penny.
I don't mean that. Look, Tony, this is something I should have said a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage. I let myself be swept away because I loved you so.
Darling.
No, wait, Tony. I want to make it clear to you. You're of a different world, a whole different kind of people. I don't mean money or socially. That's too silly. But your family and mine, Tony, it just wouldn't work. Tony, it just wouldn't work.
All right, have it your way. She can't dance. That's why they pay her all that money? Because she can't dance?
Well, I don't call that dancing whatever she does. Oh, hello. How was the ballet? It was fine, Essie.
Wonderful.
Hello there.
Hello.
Look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Why, yes, I always thought so.
Why, what does she do, anyhow? Now look, Mr. Kirby, your Fred Astaire and I'm Ginger Rogers.
Please.
I only want to use him for a minute. Essie, you're just as good as Ginger Rogers, and we all agree. You see, Ed?
Yeah, come on, Essie, we're butting in here.
Oh, but they've been together all evening. Good night, Alice. Good night, Mr. Kirby.
Good night, Mrs. Carmichael.
Good night. Essie, have you asked Grandpa about us having a baby?
Oh, yes. He said to go right ahead.
You see, Tony, that's what it would be like.
Oh, I didn't mind all that. Anyhow, we wouldn't be living with your family, it'd just be you and I.
No, it isn't. It's never quite like that. I love them, Tony. I love them deeply. Some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do rather strange things, but they're fun and they're happy. And I don't know, there's a kind of nobility about them.
Alice, you talk as though only you can understand them. Well, that's not true. Every family's got its curious little traits. My father raises orchids at $10,000 a ball. My mother believes in spiritualism. That's just as strange as your mother writing plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable. And, well, your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago, a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
Darling, what of it?
And look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he set up to the office one day and came right back down again. He just stopped. He could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for 35 years, he's done nothing but collect snakes and go to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them.
Hello there, children.
Good evening, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Hello, Grandpa.
How's the weather? Looks like a nice summer evening.
Yes, it's lovely, Grandpa.
Well, I'm off. Got a meeting with the policeman on the corner.
Policeman?
Yes, we've got a standing date, 12:30 every night. You know, I've known him since he was a little boy. He's really a doctor, but after he graduated, he came to me and said he didn't want to be a doctor. He had always wanted to be a policeman. So I told him, you go ahead and be a policeman. And that's what he did. How you like my hat?
It's very nice, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Yeah, I like it. The government gave it to me.
Excuse me, I didn't know you folks was in here.
It's all right, Donald.
We've kind of better you some candy and yes. You all don't want any, do you?
No, Donald.
Thanks. Do you have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Nice dinner?
Yes, Donald.
Was somebody nice?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice.
Now do you see what I mean? Could you explain Donald to your father? Could you explain Grandpa? You couldn't, Tony, you couldn't. I love you, Tony, but I love them too. It's no use. It's no use.
There's only one thing you've said that matters. That makes any sense at all. You love me.
But Tony, I know so well.
Don't you think other people have the same problem? Everyone's got a family.
Not like mine.
That doesn't stop people who love each other. Darling, darling, why don't you just trust me and go on loving me and forget everything else?
Tony, how can I?
Because nothing can keep us apart. You know that. You must know. They want you to be happy, don't they? They must.
Of course they do. But they can't change, Tony. I wouldn't want them to change.
They don't have to change. They're charming, lovable people, just the way they are. You're worrying about something that might never come up.
Oh, Tony, am I?
All that matters is that we love each other. That's so, isn't it?
Yes.
Well,
Oh, Tony.
I'd like to see some happiness around here. Young men calling and getting engaged and everything.
What do I say?
Well, first, you thank the young man for getting engaged to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
And then you tell him what it was about him that first took your girlish heart.
The back of your head.
Huh?
It wasn't your charm, and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
What happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to it after a while.
Oh, darling, think of it. We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
I know that I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
Well, I'm not exactly unlucky myself. Dear, I guess I ought to. Goodbye, darling. Till tomorrow.
Good night.
Isn't it wonderful we work in the same office? Otherwise, I'd be hanging around here all day.
Won't it be funny in the office tomorrow, seeing each other and just going on as if nothing had happened?
Thankfully, I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day. Dear Miss Sigmore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Oh, darling, you're such a fool.
Why don't you meet me at the drugstore tomorrow morning before you go up to the office? I have a million things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch, and then dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, Tony, what will people say?
It's got to come out sometime. In fact, if you know a good housetop, I'd like to do a little shouting.
Yes, sir, Mr. DePitta, we did a good dance.
That's what. 500 Black Panthers, 300 willow trees, and 8 dozen kitty bombers.
Pretty good. Why, hello, Alice. Did you just come in?
No, I've been home quite a while, Father.
Did you have a nice evening?
I had a beautiful evening, Father.
Say, I'd like you to check out this new red fire we just made. Mister, will you turn off the lights? I want Alice to get the full effect.
What, Father?
Look at this new red fire we just made. It's beautiful. There. What do you think? Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, Father, everything's beautiful. It's the most beautiful red fire in the world. All right, I said to him, you can take your old job.
I'm ready to redo the new play, Miss Wellington. Anytime you are.
Just a minute, dearie, just a minute.
The only thing is, I hope you won't mind my mentioning this, but you don't drink when you're acting, do you, Miss Wellington? I'm only asking, of course. I'm glad you brought it up. Once a play opens, I never touch a drop. The minute I enter the stage door, the bottle gets put away until intermission.
Have you been on the stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
Oh, my life, I've played everything. Ever see Peg on My Heart?
Yes.
I saw it too. My hot night, ain't it?
You want me to open the window, Miss Wellington?
No, whatever with the weather. Say, he's cute. Oh.
She's just acting, Reba. That's all. She don't mean anything.
I thought we'd go up to my room and start. I thought we'd read the play up in my room. All right, dearie, I'm ready. Oh, when I see snakes, it's time for me to lie down. Oh, Miss Wellington, those are real snakes. They're Grandpa's, and they're real. And oh dear, I hope she's not going to. Miss Wellington! Miss Wellington!
She's out like a light.
Yeah, better let her sleep it off. Reba! Miss Wellington just passed out.
Do you think she'll be all right?
Yes, but I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Penny, next time you meet an actress on the top of the bus, I think I'd send her the play instead of inviting her home to read it.
Ed, I wish you'd stop printing and take those love dreams around. You've got to get back in time to play for me when Kalenkov comes.
Kalenkov coming tonight?
Yes, tomorrow night's his night, but I had to change it on account of Alice.
Oh, big doings around here tomorrow. Huh?
Oh yes, I'm so excited. I'm also incredibly nervous. How do you think it was me he was getting engaged to instead of Alice?
What do you think they'll be like? His mother and father? Ed, what are you doing now?
Penny, did you see the new mask I made last night? Guess who it is?
I'll give you a minute. Is it, Helen Troy?
It's Mrs. Roosevelt.
You know the nice thing about these Meccano sets? You can make so many different things with them. Last week it was the Empire State Building.
Well, what is it this week?
Queen Mary.
Hasn't got the right hat on.
Look, Mr. DePina, would you open the door and see if there's a man standing in front of the house?
Oh, why? What for?
Well, the past few days, when I've been out delivering candy, I think a man's been following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. He follows me and stands and watches the house.
Really? Well, I'll take a look and see.
I don't see what anybody would follow you for, Ed.
Well, there's a lot of kidnapping going on, Grandpa.
Yes, but not of Ed.
Well, did you see him?
There's nobody out there at all.
You're sure?
Positive. Just saw him walk away.
You see?
Oh, it might have been anyone walking along the street. Now will you hurry up and get back?
Oh, all right.
Why don't you go down now, Mr. Sigmore, and finish packing up the fireworks?
Yeah, we've got to take the fireworks up to Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother, may I borrow some paper? I'm making out a list for Reba for tomorrow night.
Yes, here you go.
Sybil, count Sybil as an orange. Why, what happened to your actress friend? Is she giving a performance?
Oh, no, Alice. She's not acting. She's really drunk.
I see, dear, you're going to give Reba the whole kitchen tomorrow, right? Because she'll need it. Of course, Alice. I'm going to start some love dreams now, so I'll be way ahead. Thanks, dear. Look, Mother, I'll be home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. You'll have everything down the cellar by that time, correct? The typewriter, the snakes, the xylophone, the printing press.
And Miss Wellington.
And Miss Wellington. That'll give me time to arrange the table and fix the flowers.
Well, the Kirbys are certainly going to get the wrong impression of this house.
You'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Yes, of course, dear.
I think we better have cocktails ready at 7:15 in case they happen to come a little early. Oh, I wonder if I ought to let Reba cook the dinner. What do you think, Grandpa?
Now, Alice, I wouldn't worry about it. From what I've seen of the boy, the Kirbys are very nice people. And if everything's not so elaborate tomorrow night, that's all right, too.
Oh, my darling, I'm not trying to impress anybody or pretend that we're anything we're not. I just want everything to go off well.
no reason why it shouldn't, Alice.
Yes, we will all do everything we can to make sure it's a nice party.
Oh, my darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world. And I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anybody could be so happy. Why, these past few days have been like floating. Oh, he's so wonderful, Grandpa. Why, just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him for lunch and dinner and until 4 o'clock in the morning, and at 9 o'clock in the morning you're back at the office again. Just seeing him, huh?
I don't care. I'm in love. Reba! Reba!
Nice, isn't it, to see her so happy?
Yes. I remember when I was engaged to Paul, how happy I was. And you know, I still feel that way.
I know. Nice the way Ed and Essie get along too, isn't it?
And Donald and Reba, even though they're not married. Grandpa, do you suppose Mr. DePinna will ever get married?
Well, there's Miss Wellington.
Dear, do wish she'd wake up. We're going to read the play tonight and practice all those lines.
Mrs. Sycamore, look what I found. Remember?
Oh, yes. It's my painting of you as the discus thrower. Grandpa?
Oh, I remember it. Say, Mr. DePinna, you've gotten a little bald, haven't you?
Is it very noticeable? Well, I still got some hair.
Well, it was a long time ago. Just before I stopped painting, you see. That was 8 years ago.
Too bad you never finished it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Yes, well, I always meant to finish it. But I started writing plays one day, and that was that. I never painted again.
Just as well, too. I was gonna have to pose next.
Who would have thought that day I came to deliver ice that I was going to stay here for 8 years?
The milkman was here for 5, just ahead of you.
Say, why did he leave anyhow? I forget.
Oh, he didn't leave. He died.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he was such a lovely man. Do you remember the funeral, Grandpa? I never quite knew his name, and it made it kind of difficult to get a certificate.
What was the name we made up for him eventually?
Martin Vanderhoff. We gave him your name.
That's right.
Yes, it was a lovely thought. He never would have gotten all those flowers.
Hasn't hurt me any. I'm not bothered with mail anymore, and I haven't had a telephone call from that day to this.
It was truly a wonderful idea, Grandpa.
Too bad he never finished it, Mrs. Sycamore. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know what, Mr. DePinna? I think I will do some work on it right tonight.
Say, will you?
Yes. I don't think she's going to wake up anyhow. Look, how about you go downstairs and put on your costume and bring up the easel. Is it still down there?
I think so.
Yes. Oh, where did I put my palette and brushes?
Rabishka! Put it to Rabishka!
Yes, Mr. Kolikoff!
Hello, Mr. Klinka. Assie's in the kitchen.
Madame Sycamore, I greet you. Rab! Tell me, what should I do about Rabishka? I keep telling her she would be great toe dancer, but she laughs only.
No, sir. I couldn't get up on my toes, Mr. Kolikoff. I've got cords.
Rabishka, you're diamonds. A great girl, Grandpa. What is that?
It's a picture of Mr. DePinna. Penny painted it.
It stinks.
Yes, it does.
Get thee to a nunnery.
How you like that?
She is drunk, no.
She is drunk, yes. How are you, Kalinkoff?
Magnificent. Life is chasing around inside of me like a squirrel.
It is. What's new in Russia? Any more letters from your friend in Moscow?
Yes, I have just heard from him. I say for you, this stamp.
Got it there somewhere, Kalinkov. Well, thanks you.
They have sent him to Siberia.
They have. How's he like it?
He has escaped. He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. He will get them if they do not get him first. Oh, the Soviet government. I could take the whole Soviet government and...
Sorry I'm late, Miss. I'll get into my dancing clothes right away.
Tonight, you will really work, Pavlova. Tonight we will do something new.
Essie making any progress, Kalinkov?
Confidentially, she stinks.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do take a reba, Mr. Kolinkov. She is laughing her head off out there.
Yes, she is a great woman. Donald, tell me, what do you think of the Soviet government?
The what, Mr. Kolinkov?
I withdraw the question. What do you think of this government?
I like it fine. I'm on relief, you know.
Ah, yes, and you like it.
Yes, it's fine. Only thing is, you got to go around to the place every week to get it. And sometimes you got to stand in line pretty near half an hour. Government ought to be run better than that. Don't you think, Grandpa?
Government ought to stop sending me letters. They want me to come down to the marshal's office Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Look at that.
Ah! Income tax! They have got you, Grandpa!
I'm supposed to give them a whole lot of money so as to keep Donald here on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa. You are going to pay it from now on?
That's what they want.
You mean I can come right here and get it instead of standing in that long line?
No, Donald. I'm afraid you'll have to waste a full half hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. He would have stood in a line, a bright line. I tell you, Grandpa, what they have done to Russia. Think of it. My friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katerina, cousin of the Tsar. Today, she worked in Child's restaurant, Times Square. I ordered baked bean from her only yesterday. It broke my heart. It's a crazy world, Grandpa.
The world's not so crazy, Kalinkov. It's the people in it. Life's pretty simple if you just relax.
But how can you relax in times like these?
Well, if people would relax, there wouldn't be times like these. That's just my point. Life's kind of beautiful if you let it come to you. The trouble is, people forget that. I know I did. I was right in the thick of it. Fighting, scratching, clawing, regular jungle.
So you did what?
Just relaxed. I've been a happy man ever since.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Kalinkov.
Oh, my little Alice. I have not seen you to present my congratulations.
Thank you.
May you be very happy and have many, many children. This is my prayer for you.
That's quite a thought.
Love. Love is all that is left in the world, Grandpa.
Yes, but there's plenty of that.
And soon, Stalin will take that from you too, Grandpa.
It feels so nice to be back in my paint clothes again. What do you think, Grandpa?
They still look all right.
You are a breath of Paris, Madame Sycamore.
Oh, why, thank you, Mr. Kalinkov.
Okay there, Kalinkov.
Huh. I didn't know you was working for the WPA.
Oh, no, Donald. You see, I used to paint all the time.
It happened again. There was a fellow following me every place I went.
Nonsense, Ed. It's just your imagination.
No, it isn't. It happens every time I go out and deliver candy.
Maybe he wants a piece of candy.
It's all right for you to laugh, Grandpa, but he keeps following me.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody is bold. I was bold right out of Russia.
You see, Ed, it's all just your imagination.
Well, maybe.
And next lesson, we use the first movement of Scheherazade.
Okay.
Mr. DePinna, has something happened to your, figure these last 8 years?
No, I don't think there's any different.
Thank you! Thank you! Miss Wellington, yes? Thank you. Oh, dear.
Sorry, Mr. Klinkoff. I couldn't find my slippers.
We have a hack night for it, my Pavlova. But art is only achieved through perspiration.
That's wonderful, Mr. Klinkoff. Did you hear that, Grandpa? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, but it helps if you got a little talent to go with it.
All right.
I only made 2 bullseyes last night. I've got to do better than that.
You are ready? We begin. All right. Pirouette, pirouette. Yes, come on now. You can do that. It is 8 years now. At last, it's a cha. Yes. No, Grandpa. You cannot relax. We studying in Russia. The Tsar relaxed, and look what happened to him.
Mr. Klinkoff!
If he had not relaxed, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina would not be selling her baked bean today.
Mr. Klinkoff!
Mr. Pinna,
I am sorry. We go back to the pirouette.
in your stomach, just a little bit.
Clear with the hands. The whole body must work. And help us with the music. The music must be free too, and like a bird free.
Mrs. Sycamore.
Mrs. Sycamore!
What's Reba?
Good evening.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Are we too early?
No, come on. We're glad to see you.
Yes, William. We thought it was to be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
What?
Now, it's perfectly all right. Just make yourselves at home.
Tony, how could you have possibly done such a thing?
I don't know. I
Really,
thought...
Tony, this is most embarrassing.
Not at all. Like, we weren't doing a thing.
Yes, just a nice, quiet evening at home.
That's all. Now, don't let it bother you. This is Alice's mother, Mrs. Sycamore. Alice's sister, Mrs. Carmichael, Mr. McCarmichael, Mr. Klinkoff, and Mr. DePinna.
How do you do? This is my wife, Miriam, and my daughter, Helen.
How do you do?
Oh, don't mind my costume. I'll take it right off.
Mr. DePinna, would you tell Mr. Sycamore to come right up? Tell him the Kirby's are here.
Oh, and do tell him to put his pants on.
Excuse me. Come on in.
I'll tell Alice. Alice,
be sure there were
Now, don't be alarmed. They're perfectly harmless.
Dear
Take
mother,
them to the kitchen.
so used to having them around the house that I'm sorry to trouble you, but snakes happen to
I
be.
feel very uncomfortable about all of this. Tony, how could you have done such a thing?
I don't know, Dad. I thought it was nice.
Really, Tony?
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh no, Mr. Kirby. Anyone can get a little mixed up, that's all.
Penny, how about some dinner for these folks? They've come for dinner, you know.
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all.
Oh, but it's not a bit of bother. Ed, can you go tell Donald to go down to the A&P and to get half a dozen bottles of soda and some canned salmon. Yes. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Please, don't trouble Mrs. Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyways.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And you, Mrs. Kirby, do you like canned salmon?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
Oh, yes. Sounds delicious. You can have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
Make that some frankfurters and some canned corn and some Campbell soup. You got that right, Ed?
Okay.
And tell him to hurry! The AP's just around the corner and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
Yes. This is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore.
I hope you'll forgive my appearance.
Yes.
How do you do?
It's Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year, right at the 4th of July. So
Oh, darling, I'm the most dull-witted fool in the world. I thought it was tonight.
Tony, I can't imagine why I wasn't. Have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice? You remember Tony's sister, Helen.
How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? Helen? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Darling, you look lovely.
Don't let this upset you, Alice. We've just met each other a night sooner, that's all.
Of course.
But I was planning such a nice party for tomorrow evening.
Well then, we'll come again tomorrow night.
There you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. It's just that we'd better see about getting you folks some dinner.
That's all right, Alice. That's all been That's all been attended to.
Yes, but Mother, what did you send for? Because Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion. He can only eat certain things.
Oh no, it's all right, really. It's all right.
Of course it is, darling.
I asked him what he wanted, Alice.
Yes, but
Now, it's not as serious as all of that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion. Oh. Perhaps you have stomach ulcer.
Now, you mustn't mind Mr. Klinkoff. He's Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side of things.
Fine, I may be a Russian, but a friend of mine, also a Russian, died of stomach ulcer. Really?
Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
Fine, let him wait.
Do sit down, Mr. Kirby. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Well,
Tell me, Mr. Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Are we pretty well out of the depression?
What? Well, yes, I think so. Of course, it all depends.
But you figure things are going to keep on improving.
Well, broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is operating at 64% full capacity as compared to 82% in 1925. Of course, in
olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking. Now goodness knows. Anything she's just such a clumsy. Everybody in olden days looked a little.
That may seem a little bit odd to people, but she's not quite accountable for her actions. A friend of Penny's, she came to dinner and was overcome by the heat.
Yes, some people feel it more than most. Would you please excuse me for just a moment? It is awfully hot. You usually escape all this hot weather up in Maine, don't you, Mrs. Kirby?
As a rule, I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show. Mother loves her flowers.
Mother wouldn't miss that for the world. That blue ribbon is the high spot of her year.
Oh, I won a ribbon at a flower show once for raising onions. You remember Alice?
That was a garden show, Essie.
Oh, yes.
All better. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back in no time, and then dinner will be soon after. I'm afraid you must be starved.
Oh no, quite all right. Hello, what's this? I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh no, that's mine.
I see. Well, I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use it as a model of some kind?
No, I play with it.
I see.
Maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us all about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know, some take 6 years to blossom. Think of that.
Oh, some of them take even longer than that. I've got one coming along now that I've waited 10 years for.
Believe it or not, I waited for an orchid once.
Oh, Penny.
Yes. Of course, during that time, they require the most scrupulous of care. I remember a bulb I was very
Donald!
fond of.
Oh, here we are. Donald, did you get everything we asked for?
Yes, only they didn't have any frankfurters. So, I got pickled pig's feet.
Oh, never mind, Donald. Just bring it all into the kitchen. Mr. Kirby, do tell them all about your orchids. I know they'd love to hear it, and excuse me.
Kind of an expensive hobby, isn't it, Mr. Kirby? Raising orchids.
Yes, but I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, then it's never expensive.
That's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week in Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts just for that same reason.
Well, why don't you just give up Wall Street?
How's that?
Oh, I was only joking.
I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, it's more to me than a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism, Mrs. Kirby? Now we all know that's a fake.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is, well, I would rather not discuss it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Remember, Penny, you have 1 or 2 hobbies of your own?
Yes, Paul, but not silly ones.
I don't think it matters what the hobby is. The important thing is to have one.
To be ideal. A hobby should improve the mind as well as the body. The Romans were a great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind and act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid wrestling isn't very practical for most of us. I know I wouldn't make a good showing as a wrestler.
Oh, no. You could be a great wrestler. You are built for it. Look. Ah! am sorry, Mr. Kirby, but the next time you do the wrestling, you do not wear the glasses.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Mr. Kolinkoff.
Better sit down, Father.
How could you do such a thing, Mr. Klinkoff? Why couldn't anybody stop him? I think if you don't mind, perhaps we better be going. Oh, Mrs. Kirby, Mr. Kirby, please don't go. Please. I've ordered some scrambled eggs and some plain salad. Oh, please don't go.
I am very sorry. I did anything wrong, and I apologize.
I don't know how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I'd been here, I would have...
Quite all right.
It's all right. It's all right. We're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a minute, wasn't it?
You were telling us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. Do you raise any different varieties?
I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Kirby.
What did I do that was so terrible? I threw him to the ground. Yes. Did it kill him? No, it didn't.
Please, Mr. Klinkoff. I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now.
Would you like some candy while you're waiting, Mr. Kirby? I've got some freshly made.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy, but thank you.
But these are nothing, Mr. Kirby. Just coconut and marshmallow and fudge.
Don't, Essie.
Well,
Mrs. Alice? Mrs. Alice? The eggs done fell down my sink.
Make some more, quick.
Ain't got any.
Send Donald out for some.
All right.
Tell him to hurry.
there's been a little delay in
Dinner, but everything will be ready in just a minute. Whoosh.
I'm sorry with all the trouble I put you people through with my stupidity.
Not at all, Tony. It's quite all right.
Look, why don't we play a game of some sort while we're waiting?
Oh, that'd be fine.
All right. I don't think the Kirby's...
Oh, I know a game. I know a wonderful trick with a glass of water in a book.
I'm sure the Kirbys love this game. It's perfectly harmless. Please, Mother.
I'm not very good at games, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool could play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper. Mother, Mr. Kirby doesn't want to play your game. He'll love it. Anyhow, here, Mr. Kirby, just write your name on this piece of paper right there, and you, Mrs. Kirby, do the same on yours. Mother, what is this game? Oh, it's called Forget Me Not. I used to play it all the time in school. Oh, sorry, Grandpa. Here you go. Yes. So I will call out 5 words, just ending it all, you see? And as I say each word, you are to put down the first thing that comes into your mind. For instance, if I say grass, you might put down green, or just anything you think of, see? Or if I say chair, you might put down table. It shows the reactions people have to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father. Be a sport.
Very well. I shall be happy to play.
You see, Alice, he does want to play. Well, now then, is everyone ready?
Ready.
Now you must remember to play fair. You must put down the first word that comes into your mind.
I understand.
Already? The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. All ready for the next one? All right. Bathroom, Mother. Bathroom. got that?
Go ahead.
Already? Lust. Mother, this is not exactly what you said. Alice, the word's all right.
Mother, it's not all right.
Oh, I don't know. It seems to me that's a perfectly fair word.
You see? Now you mustn't interrupt the game.
May I have that last word again, please?
Lust, Mr. Kirby?
I've got it.
Well, this is quite a game, isn't it?
Now then. The next word is honeymoon. Now, Essie. All ready? The final word is marriage.
Mother,
Marriage. Got that? All right. Now please hand your papers in. May I please have your paper, Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Thank you.
What happens now?
Oh, this is the best part. Now I read out everyone's responses.
I see. It's really quite an interesting game.
I knew you would like it, Mr. Kirby. Oh, and look. I'll read your paper first. Everyone, I'm reading Mr. Kirby's paper first. This is Mr. Kirby. Potatoes. Steak. That is a very good word, Mr. Kirby. You see how they go together? Steak and potatoes. Very good.
I just happened to think of it.
It's very good, Mr. Kirby. All right, the next word is bathroom. Toothpaste. Perfect. Lust. Unlawful. Isn't that nice? Honeymoon. Trip. Yes. And marriage. Ceremony. Yes, of course it is. Really, Mr. Kirby. That is a wonderful paper.
Thank you. It's really more than a game, you know. It's a sort of experiment in psychology.
Yes, it is. It shows just how the mind works. Oh, and now we'll see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Everyone, this is Mrs. Kirby. Potatoes. Starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby. Oh, dear. Bathroom. Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom. Mr. Kirby.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow that, dear.
Oh, I don't know. I just thought of you in connection with it. After all, you are in there a good deal, Anthony. Bathing and shaving, well, you do take a long time.
Indeed. I hadn't realized I was being selfish in the matter. Will you go on, Mrs. Sycamore? What was the next word?
I think this is a rather silly game and we ought to stop it.
Yes.
No, please, go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
Yes, where was I? Oh, yes. Lust. Human.
Human. Really, Miriam?
I just meant, Anthony, that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
I do not agree with you, Miriam. Lust is not a human emotion. It is depraved.
Very well, Anthony. I'm wrong.
Really, it's the most pointless game. Suppose we play 20 questions instead.
Yes.
No, I find this game rather interesting. Will you go on, Mrs. Sycamore? What was the next word?
Honeymoon?
Ah, yes. And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Oh, honeymoon. Dull.
Did you say dull?
What I meant, Anthony, was that Hot Springs wasn't very enjoyable that season. All those old people sitting on the porch all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
That was not your reaction at the time, as I recall it.
Father, this is only a game.
A very illuminating game. Go on, Mrs. Sycamore.
This one's perfectly all right. Marriage, Wall Street.
Wall Street. Now what do you mean by that, Miriam?
I don't know what I meant, Anthony. Nothing.
But you must have meant something, Miriam, or you wouldn't have put it down.
It was just the first thing that came into my head, that's all.
But what does it mean? Marriage. Wall Street.
Oh, I don't know what it means. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when... I don't know what I meant. Would you mind terribly, Alice, if we didn't stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game has given me a headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes, perhaps we'd better postpone the dinner if that's all right.
But you are coming tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
It may be best to just postpone this whole affair for a little while.
I think we're being very ungracious, Father. Of course we'll save for dinner tonight.
I have a very bad headache, Tony.
Come, Tony. I'm sure everyone understands.
Well, I don't. I think we'll have to stay.
No, Tony.
What?
We were fools, Tony, to ever think this would work. It won't.
I won't be at the office tomorrow, Mr. Kirby. I won't be there at all anymore.
I'm sorry, Alice. Very sorry.
Alice, what are you talking about?
Are you ready, Miriam? Helen?
Yes, Anthony, that's fine.
Darling, you mustn't mind this.
Oh, it's been very nice to have met you all.
Yes, lovely.
Thank you.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I'm not.
I see. We will be waiting for you at home. Good night.
Good night.
Stay right where you are. Everybody, don't move.
Oh, my heavens!
How dare you? What does this mean?
What is all this?
I demand an explanation.
Your mouth shut. You. Which one is it?
This is him.
What are you doing? What do you mean?
What is it, Grandpa?
I demand...
Shut up. What is your name?
Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything.
You haven't, huh?
This seems rather high-handed to me. What's it all about?
Department of Justice.
Oh, my goodness! The J-Men!
Hey, what have you done?
I haven't done anything.
What's the boy done, officer?
What is it? What's it all about?
That door. Does that lead to the cellar?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Mac, Phil. Jim, Stan, take a look upstairs. See what you find.
Yes, sir.
I haven't done
Come
anything.
here, you. You ever seen these before?
They're my circulars.
Print this stuff, huh?
Yes, sir.
And you put them in the box of candy to get them into people's homes.
The love dreams.
But I didn't mean anything
You
by
didn't, huh? Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the White House. Dynamite the Supreme Court. God is the state is God.
But I didn't mean any of that. I just like to print, don't I, Grandpa?
Now look here, officer. The government is in no danger from Ed. Printing is just his hobby, that's all. He'll print anything.
He does, huh?
Yes. I've never heard anything so ridiculous before.
I refuse to stand here and be examined like this.
my pipe, will you? Let me get my
Shut up, you! We were right, Chief. They've got enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city.
Keep still. Everyone in this house is under arrest. Shut up, all you people. Shut up.
Will you quit that? That's enough, Phil. Whoa, hey! Enough.
That is my mother.
Whoa, hey!
for appearance on the West Side Court this morning. After spending the night in jail, the defendants, 14 in all, were brought before Judge Callahan and were given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit.
Yeah, all them rich men are elks or something.
I was in the cell with Mr. Kirby. He was mad.
Miss Kirby and the dancer, they were fine all night.
Whole lot about Mr. Kirby here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby and Company, 62 Wall Street, who was among those apprehended, declared he was in no way interested in the manufacture of fireworks, but refused to state why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Racket Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. He certainly is a joiner. I suppose, after all this, Mr. Tony ain't ever going to marry Miss Alice, huh?
Oh, so. And it's too bad, too. Miss Alice surely loves that boy.
Ever notice how this family always gets themselves into trouble?
Yes, I'm glad I'm not one of them.
Me too.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with all of that food in the kitchen. Ain't gonna be no party tonight, that's for sure.
Ain't we gonna eat it anyhow?
Well, I'm cooking it, but I don't think anyone's gonna have an appetite.
I'm hungry.
Well, they ain't. They also broke up about Miss Alice.
What's she want to go away for? Where is she going?
I don't know. The mountains someplace. But she's going all right. I know Miss Alice when she gets that look in her eye.
Too bad, ain't it?
Sure is.
Not even a balloon left. Look.
How's that hand, Mr. DePina? Better?
Yes, it's better. Is there more olive oil in there?
Yes, it's in the salad bowl.
Thanks.
Well, she's going. There was nothing anyone said that could change her.
She ain't gonna be waiting long, is she, Miss Sycamore?
I don't know, Rita. She won't say.
My, it is gonna be lonesome around here without her.
How are you doing, Mrs. Sycamore?
I'm all right, Donald. Just a little upset. Perhaps if I do some work, I'll feel better.
I won't bother you then, Mrs. Sycamore.
Well, she's going, Penny.
Yes, I know.
No, now, Penny.
I can't help it, Paul. I can't help but feel that it's somehow our fault.
No, Penny. It's mine more than yours. All this time I've just been going along, enjoying myself, when maybe I should have been thinking more about Alice.
No, don't say that, Paul. You have been a wonderful father and husband too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I had gone and been an architect, I don't know, something Alice could have been proud of. I felt that way all last night looking at Mr. Kirby.
But we've been so happy.
I know, but maybe that's not enough. I used to think it was, but I'm kind of all mixed up now.
What time is she going?
Pretty soon. Train leaves 7:30.
If only she see Tony, maybe he could persuade her to stay and...
But she won't, Penny. He's been trying all day.
Where is he now?
I don't know. I suppose walking around the block again. Anyhow, it won't help. She won't talk to him.
maybe he could catch her as she's leaving and then...
It won't help, Penny.
Oh, I don't suppose it will. Grandpa!
Now, Penny, let the girl alone.
Yes, but Grandpa.
Suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. She'll be back. You can take just as much Adirondacks, then you come home.
It's all so terrible, Dad.
In a way, but it has its bright sides, too.
What do you mean?
Well, seeing Mr. Kirby get into the patrol wagon, for one thing. And the look on his face when he and Donald had to take a bath together. I'll never forget that if I live to be 100. And I warn you people, I intend to. If I can have things like that going on.
You should have seen Mrs. Kirby when the matron searched her. There was this dancer there who kept singing this strip song while she was searched.
Yeah, I'll bet you Bar Harbor's going to seem pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer. Need any help, Alice?
No thanks, Grandpa. I'm just going to press these.
Alice, dear, I think that...
No, Penny.
I'll bring the big bag down as soon as you're ready, Alice.
Thank you. Do you want to take some candy along for the train, Alex? No thanks, Ceci.
Alice, you could be just as alone here as you could in the mountains. You could stay up in your room all the time.
Oh, I want to be by myself, away from everybody. I love you all, you know that, but I just have to go away for a while. I'll be all right. Father, did you phone for a cab?
No, I didn't know you wanted one.
I thought I told Mr. DePinna to tell you. Did he not tell you?
He told me, but I forgot.
Oh, how I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way other people's do. I'm so sick of cornflakes and Donald and everything. Why can't we be like other people? Roast beef and 2 vegetables, doilies on the table, a place you can bring your friends to without... Ugh! I'll see if I can do anything.
Tony, go talk to her. She's in the kitchen.
Thanks. Alice, won't you listen to me, please?
Tony, it's no use.
Alice, you're not being fair. At least let me talk to you.
Where'd they go?
Upstairs.
She walked right out the minute he came in.
Knocked the olive oil right out of my hand. I'm going to smell kind of fishy.
How are you feeling, Mr. DePinna? Hand still hurting you?
No, it's better.
Everything burnt up, huh? Downstairs?
Everything. And my Roman costume, too.
I told you there was a bright side to everything. All except my 23 years back income tax. I get another letter every day.
Say, what are you going to do about that, Grandpa?
Well, I had a sort of an idea yesterday. I'm not sure it's going to work, but I'm trying it anyhow.
Well, what is it?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Klinkoff.
Hello.
Oh, forgive me, the door was open.
No, come on in, come on in.
I hope you will forgive my appearance. I realize you are all upset.
Oh, no, Mr. Jacob, it's all right.
I don't think I can take a lesson today, Mr. Kulikov. I don't feel up to it.
Well,
Oh, but do stay for dinner. I mean, we have all that food out there, and well, somebody's got to eat it.
Oh, I would be happy to, Madame Sycamore.
Fine.
Now, I wonder if I know you all well enough to ask you of a great favor.
Yes, of course. What is it, Mr. Klinkoff?
You have heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Yes.
She is a great woman, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. She is a cousin of the Tsar of Russia. And today, she worked in Child's restaurant, Times Square.
Yes. And if there's anything we can
I
do
tell
to help...
you, the Grand Duchess has not had a good meal since before the revolution.
She must be hungry.
And Today is not only her day off, but it is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man.
Why, Mr. Klenkov, do you mean you would like us to have the Grand Duchess over for dinner? Why, we'd be honored.
Oh, yes.
In the name of the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina, I thank you both.
This is all so exciting. Where is she now?
Oh, she's out in the street. I go get her!
Sweetie, you're tired. Oh no, how do I look?
Well, if this keeps on, I want to live to be 150.
I present to you the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. Your Highness, permit me to present to you Madame Sigma, Madame Carmichael, Grandpa, Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Sycamore, and Mr. DePena.
All right now, Mr. DePena.
Will you be seated, Your Highness? Thank you. You are most kind. We are so honored to receive you, Your Highness. I am most happy to be here.
How soon is dinner?
Soon, very soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you are on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Glinko.
You know, Highness, I think you waited on me in Childs once. The 72nd Street place.
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess, Natasha.
Times Square.
Oh, quite a lot of your folks living over here now, aren't there?
Oh yes, many. There's my uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei. He's an elevator man at Macy's. A very nice man. But then there is my cousin, Prince Alexei. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works in Hattie Carnegie in the ladies' underwear department.
When he was selling hot dogs in Coney Island, he was willing to talk to you.
Ah, yes, Klinkov, our time is coming. My sister Natasha is studying to be a manicurist. Uncle Sergei's promised to make floor walker, and next month I get transferred to Fifth Avenue Childs. From there, it is only a step to Shafts. Then we'll see, Prince Alexei says.
Well, I think you've got them.
You're telling me?
Pardon me, Your Highness, but did you happen to know the Tsar personally?
Ah, yes, of course. He was my cousin. It was terrible what happened, but perhaps it was for the best. Where did we get the job now?
Pravda, that is true.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, was very nice just for about 10 years. Every once in a while he would send a money order. Then he said, cannot go on. I am not doing so myself, and I do not blame him.
No, of course not. Would you excuse me just a moment?
Tell me, Grand Duchess, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we need to watch the time.
Yes, I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He is a communist.
Yes, we'll be sure to hurry him. Assi, can you go into the kitchen and see if Reba needs any help?
Oh, I will help you. I am a very good cook.
But Your Highness, not on your day off.
I do not mind. Where's your kitchen? Oh, right through here. But you're the guest of honor, Your Highness. I love to cook. Come on, Klinkov. If there's some sour cream and patches, we'll make them blintzes.
Blintzes! Come, Pavlova, we show you something.
Say, the Duchess is all right, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
Gee, she's got a wonderful face for a mask, hasn't she?
Yes, she's really quite a wonderful person, considering she's a duchess and all.
Wonderful what some people go through and still keep kind of happy, isn't it, Penny?
Yes. She made me forget about everything for a moment there.
I suppose I should call the cab.
Oh, wait, Paul, they're here. Maybe Tony has convinced her to stay and...
Dad, will you bring my bag down?
Don't do it, Ed.
Ed, please.
All right, Ed, bring it down. Don't you know you have the most stubborn daughter in all 48 states?
That must be the cat.
If it is, it's certainly wonderful service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Yes, he is. Come right in, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Forgive my intruding. Tony, I want you to come home with me. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Bye, Alice.
Goodbye, Tony.
I need hardly to say that this is as difficult for Mrs. Kirby and myself. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand.
Well, yes. But in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives. But the fact of the matter is, Mr. Kirby, these two young people haven't got as much sense as you and I have.
Grandpa, will you please not do
Now,
this?
Alice, I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can look at a king, can't he?
Would you like me to do that for you, Alice? No thanks, Mother.
We've got quite a while before the train goes.
Will you send a cab to 761 Claremont? Right away, please? Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Alice.
Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
And now, Mr. Kirby. I suppose after last night you think this family is kind of crazy, no?
No, I wouldn't say that. Although, I'm not accustomed to going out to dinner and then spending the night in jail.
Well, you've got to remember, you came on the wrong night. Now, tonight, I bet you nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it was not merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this engagement would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No, he's not, Alice.
Alice, you're in love with this boy, and you're not marrying him because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandpa.
Now, I know you think that the two families wouldn't get along. Well, maybe they wouldn't. But who's to say they're right and we're wrong?
Grandpa, I didn't say that. I only feel as
Well, what I feel is Tony's too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes, mixed up and unhappy, the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff, but I am a very happy man.
Are you?
Certainly I am.
I don't think so. What do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir. You get it because most of your time is spent doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything that I don't want to do.
Yes, you do. You said so yourself. You said, at the end of a week in Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why do I keep on why? That's my business. A man can't give up his business.
Why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That's a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff. But I have spent my entire life building up my business.
What's it got you? The same kind of mail every morning, same deals, the same meetings, same dinners at night, same indigestion. Where does the fun come in? Don't you think there ought to be something more, Mr. Kirby? You must have wanted more than that when you started out. We haven't got too much time, any of us.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Live the way you people do? Do nothing?
Well, I have a lot of fun. Time enough for everything. Read, talk, visit the zoo now and then, practice my darts, even have time to notice when spring comes around. I don't see anybody I don't want to, and I don't have 6 hours of things I have to do before I get 1 hour of what I like in. And I haven't taken bicarbonate of soda in 35 years. No, What's the matter with that?
The matter with that? Suppose we all did that. A fine world we'd live in. Everybody going to zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
Well, there's always people that like to work. You can't stop them. Inventions, and they fly the ocean. There's always people that go down to Wall Street, too, because they like it. But from what I've seen of you, I don't think you're one of them. I think you're missing something.
I am not aware of missing anything.
Well, I wasn't either until I quit. I used to get down to that office 9 o'clock sharp, no matter how I felt. I used to lay awake at nights for fear I wouldn't get that deal with that contract. I used to worry about the world, too. Got all worked up about whether Cleveland or Blaine was going to be elected president. It seemed awful important at the time, but who cares now? I guess what I'm saying, Mr. Kirby, is I've had 35 years that no one can take away from me, no matter what they do to the world. Do you see?
Yes, I do see. And it's a very dangerous philosophy, Mr. Vanderhoff. It's un-American. And it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony coming under its influence.
What's the matter with it, Father?
The matter with it? Why, it's downright communism, that's what it is.
You didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
You didn't always think so, because there was a time where you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
What? Why, don't be an idiot, Tony.
Oh, yes, you did. I came across those letters you wrote to Grandfather. Do you remember those?
No, how dare you read those letters? How dare you?
Mr. Kirby, did you happen to wear tights?
Certainly not. The whole thing was absurd. I was 14 at the time.
Yes, but at 18 you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you?
Tony.
And at 21 you ran away from home because Grandfather wanted you to go into business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, well, well. I may have had some silly notions in my youth, but thank goodness my father knocked them out of me. I went into the business and I forgot all about them.
Not altogether. There's still a saxophone in your back clothes closet.
There is.
That's enough, Tony. We'll discuss this later.
No. I want to talk about it now. I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. I'm never going back to that office. I've always hated it. And I'll tell you something else. I didn't make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night, and I brought you here on purpose.
Tony, for my goodness sake.
Because I wanted to wake you up. I wanted to show you a real family, as they really were. A family that loved and understood each other. You don't understand me. You never had time. Well, I'm not making your same mistake. I'm clearing out.
Clearing out? What do you mean you're clearing out?
I mean, I'm not just going to be pushed in a business just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
But Tony, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer. But at least I'll do something I want to do.
Oh, that must be the cow.
Tell the cab to wait a minute, Ed.
Grandpa.
Do you mind, Alex? You know, Mr. Kirby, I think Tony is going through just what you and I did when we were his age. I think if you listen hard enough, you can hear yourself saying the same things to your father 25 years ago. We all did it, and we were right. How many of us would be willing to settle when we're young for what we eventually get? All those plans we make, what happens to them? It's only a handful of the lucky ones that can look back and say they even came close. So before they pack up that closet, Mr. Kirby, I think I'd get in a few good hours on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon, but before I make acquaintances, how many will there be to dinner?
Your Highness, may I present Mr. Anthony Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr. the Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina.
How's that?
How do you do? What's before I make the places? How many will there be today?
Oh, I'd make quite a stack of them, your highness. Can't ever tell.
Ah, good. Tsar always told me, Olga, never be stingy with the places.
Pardon me, but who did you say that was, Mr. Vanderhoff?
The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. She's cooking dinner.
Oh,
Speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Yes, how about it? I mean, we have all that food that we were going to have last night. I mean, tonight.
It looks like a pretty good dinner, and it'll give us a chance to get acquainted. Why not stay?
How about it, Father? Are we staying for dinner?
why, if you'd care to, Tony, then I'd like to. Very much.
Now, if Alice will send away that cab, Mr. Vanderhoff?
How about it, Alice? It's going to be a pretty nice crowd. Don't you think you ought to stay for dinner?
I'm staying, Alice. The families ought to get to know each other, don't you think?
Oh, Mr. Kirby. Tony. Oh, Tony. You're wonderful, Grandpa.
I've been telling you that for years.
Grandpa, there's a letter for you.
Letter for me.
It was in the icebox.
I'll let Grandma see it.
How do you do, Mr. Kirby?
How do you do?
Now, Miss Sycamore, how would you like to step into the office? I'd like to do a little dictating.
I'd better tell that cat.
Well.
What is it, Grandpa?
The United States government apologizes. I don't owe him a nickel. It seems I died 8 years ago. Do you remember Charlie the Milkman, buried under my name?
Yes.
Well, I've just told them they've made a mistake, and I'm Martin Vanderhoff Jr. So they're very sorry, and I might even get a refund.
Why, Grandpa, you're an old crook.
I'm sure.
Pardon me, but how did you say you escaped the income tax? Mr.
Tonight, my friends, we are going to eat.
Yeah! Hello there. How do you do? Oh, fine. Glad to see you. What has happened?
He's relaxing. That's right. Play something, Ed.
Everything will be ready in a minute. You can all sit down.
All right, everyone, come to dinner. Mr. Kirby, would you like to sit down, please?
Yes, I'm coming.
S.T., stop dancing and come to dinner.
You, we like Russian food meat.
Oh, but you must be careful of your indigestion.
Nonsense. I haven't any indigestion.
Now, Miss Sycamore, how was your trip to the Adirondacks?
Shut your face, Mr. Kirby.
In Russia, when they sit down to dinner, they will grab the thing of Blinkies and
Quiet, everybody. Quiet. Well, sir, here we are again. We want to say thank you once more for everything you've done for us. Things seem to be going along fine. Alice is going to marry Tony, and it looks as if they're going to be very happy. Of course, the fireworks blew up, but that was Mr. DePina's fault, not yours. We've all got our health, and as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Grandpa, I just heard from my friend in Siberia. He has escaped again.
Well, Mr. Tony, what do you think about the new security system?
We're going to have to start thinking about next year's fireworks, Mr. DePina.
Well, here goes the Adirondacks.
And a very good thing, too.
I want to take a trip.